that 50 million barrels of oil that we just got from Venezuela. And I'm confused as to how it's working. Did we take the oil for free and we're selling it at market price?
I read about it.
Or did we buy it from them at market price?
It's what was already happening. This is not a new, it's one of those things where they explained a situation to him that was already in place and he's calling it a victory for him. So ignore that like free 50 million barrels of oil that was already coming to us, already owed to us.
Okay.
It was either already coming to us, already owed to us, or it was what we already take or something. So
I don't know.
He's lying on that. Ignore him on that. But what we are going to do clearly is send his oil company buddies in to develop and exploit that oil. But we're not stealing it like the Romans. We're not taking 100% of their oil and leaving them in poverty and saying join the legions. So it's not that. We're saying you're in business with us now. We're going to pay you the market rate. You get this much and we get that much.
To that I say we'll see. Just like manufacturing has declined in Trump's age of tariffs because there's so much instability. Who would invest in Trump's tariff protections, right? Like they could completely disappear when Trump leaves. They could completely disappear while Trump is here. We've seen him oscillate on what a tariff level should be so many times that no one in their right mind would invest using Trump's tariff protections as a rationale.
Yep.
Back to Venezuela. If you're Chevron or Exxon or whatever, are you going to put $50 billion into Venezuela, hoping that you'll be protected, that there'll be stability, that the U.S. government will have your back this whole time? Because I don't know where Trump is in 2 years.
Here's why.
I don't know what is after Trump.
So no president's going to say no to oil. I don't care, Democrat, Republican, or Independent. Bernie Sanders will be like, we're keeping the oil. All right, first and foremost, we're keeping the oil.
We're not just going to throw this away.
We're dumping it into the ocean. That's bad oil.
Schumer, maybe not Bernie.
But as far as like the oil companies, their shit's already there. They were in business there, and the Venezuelans nationalized it, aka turned to communism and stole all of the derricks, oil rigs, equipment, what have you, from those oil companies. So I'm not saying they can move in and just turn the switch on and start filling their barrels, but they're at least a third of the way there to doing that. There's already facilities.
You don't have to be perfect, but like get close.
I don't know.
Would you call it 80s?
So post Chavez, I think. I know we had like George W. had huge beef with Chavez. And then I always theorized that we shot Chavez with that cancer gun because I just don't believe world leaders just whoopsie daisy, I've got stage 4 cancer all of a sudden, and I had no idea. I think that they would have caught it, but we hit him with the cancer gun and took him out. I strongly believe that. I think the CIA has.
But I don't know when he died. So you're saying it was in the last 10 years?
Hugo Chavez died in 2013.
Okay. So you think it was after Chavez?
The nationalization of the oil stuff? I don't know when that happened. I have no idea where that happened. He told me it was the 60s,
1976. Oh, okay. So that stuff's old. You probably need to start fresh. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know enough about the oil business. I got most of my oil business information from Landman, and Billy Bob's known to spin a yarn.
Yeah, that might not be the best source. But
that's 50 years ago.
End of the day, this is all going to be outcome dependent. If we get what we want, if we deprive our enemies of resources, if we strengthen ourselves geopolitically and weaken our rivals, huge win. If it creates an enormous migrant crisis and there's a huge amount of investment needed to maintain it, then it's going to be looked at retroactively.
Private investment.
Like I have in my head that China was in there doing it the right way. China was like, "Look, we'll build your refinery." Well, here, tell me where I'm wrong because I might be.
Yeah.
China was building their refinery. They were building their infrastructure. They were trying to create this oil thing. They were selling them, anti-aircraft shit that barely worked. But at least they were like partnering and doing something that Venezuela wanted to do. They weren't in there decapitating the leader. We go in there, we kill 80 people, we steal their leader, we trump up some charges, and
100.
If
Trump up some charges, the charges are real.
Some of the charges are literally dropped. The thing about him being like this narco terrorist cartel, they made that shit up and they dropped those charges already. Some of the charges were acquiring fully automatic machine guns for their own army. Jesus fucking Christ, right? That's what I'm talking about when I say Trump up charges. So anyway, we make up some charges, and maybe there's some real ones in addition to those. We take off their leader. We're not doing it the right way. We're not partnering in some kind of win-win. We're creating a win-lose, and that shit's always temporary.
Not with Maduro, but if you're talking about the Venezuelan, if you're talking about the Venezuelan people and you care about them, we are doing it in a much more positive way. China doesn't give a fuck. China sees another communist country and goes, yeah, we'll invest here and we'll use it as a stronghold. We'll build military installations. We'll build landing zones for planes, this and that.
Imagine if Great Britain put a fucking warrant out on Donald Trump. They came in, they fucking arrested him on pedophile charges. They took him back to London and they were trying to try him for pedophilia. And now JD Vance is the president. That doesn't change any of our oil deals. You know what I mean? Like now, JD Vance and the rest of the whole system of cards is still there. The entire government is still there. The mechanism is there to pump the oil, market the oil, and export the oil. We're not gonna take their oil barrels and put them on aircraft carriers and literally steal them. We're going into business with them. This is like when the mob comes in and roughs you up a little bit and says, "Now we're partners."
Well,
we're partners.
That's literally what it is. Yeah,
I think there's a lot of assumptions going on here, though. Like, if it's the case that this move provides stability and prosperity for the people of Venezuela, like you said, Taylor, a moment ago, there was hyperinflation in that country, and
crazy.
Apart from the political repression he was doing, imprisoning and torturing dissidents, murdering people. Sure. He inflicted a lot of economic pain on that entire country. Mm-hmm. And so if those people feel like a tangible benefit, then you can imagine like a really strong pro-US sentiment. If that happens, if it devolves and if it becomes destabilized, you could easily see a strong anti-Western, anti-United States, anti-imperialist movement forming. And then that could potentially bleed into other countries in the region. Again, we have seen this exact story play out in different regions in the country or different regions in the world
and dictatorships
several times throughout history. And so,
but this is a democracy that had been this is a democracy that had been held hostage by a dictator, and it still is. Just to be clear, it's a democracy being held hostage by a dictator's regime because that vice president was not duly elected.
Well, no reasonable person is going to.
Wrong. I'm just asking.
No reason
because they had elections and elect their president.
No. The when I'm just trying to in my head, if they were a democracy in the 50s, well, then that's hardly relevant. If they were a democracy 10 years ago.
Well, yes, they are. Maduro stole the election. That's what happened. It would be like if Trump had won on January 6th.
They are a de jure democracy, but
it's a democratic structure. But he
not de facto.
So maybe the leader before him was an honest democracy.
No, that would be that was Maduro, and then Chavez was prior.
Did Chavez legitimately win the vote?
I don't know about. I don't know. I thought he did. I know he was super. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Right? Here's what I know about him. That guy was super popular and like a man of the people. He'd go and mix it up on soccer pitches with people, and he would sing and dance like in public. I saw him at concerts dancing and having a good time. That was definitely a popular.
He gave away a lot of oil too.
But they were wildly prosperous. They were wildly prosperous for a time. Yeah. And then
they need to have new elections.
A penny a gallon.
What we should do it would make me feel 100% like the good guy on this is hold new elections immediately and respect.
Rubio said no. Rubio said that's not going to happen.
Of course he doesn't, because they've already got their puppets in the Maduro regime. They've already if they weren't already in control and had them by the short hairs, then he would want an election so that they could steal it and put in whoever they want. They don't want that woman because she might have American and Western ideals, but she doesn't want to play ball. We don't care if they're Democrats or dictators as long as they dance to our tune. Sure. That is American policy. We love kings and dictators because they're easy to get to go along with American policy. Democracies change every 4, 5, 6 years, and all of a sudden you got a new guy in there that you got to appease and deal and dicker with. That's just the way we play ball. But the right thing to do here would be to have elections, and then that woman who won the Nobel Peace Prize or whatever would become the rightful president. And I bet she wouldn't deal as easily with us as the Maduro vice president.
They're all gonna that's why I feel like they should just have elections, because it really genuinely doesn't matter who they have as president. They will bend to us. They will. Because we just exhibited a use of force that even rivals like China and Russia are spazzing about. Like, we just showed we run shit. Like, whoever, let them elect someone. That's fine. They're still going to bend the knee.
I mean, maybe that happens, but I feel like you're not fully appreciating the similarities between this and other times we've made that very same assumption.
I only see similarities in the times we've done it, and it worked out well like Panama.
If the situation devolves, would you guys change your opinion?
100%. If a migrant crisis occurs, I will change my opinion and say this was an unforced own goal, like 100%. But
we would have to
unless
fuck
and
up so
until
bad
that
to mess this up.
yeah.
It would be a fumble for things not to go our way at this point.